Are you also struggling to play songs from beginning to end and make them sound good? That's what ultimately what we want to do as a beginner, right? We want to grab our guitar, start strumming, play a song from beginning to end, and be like, that sounds great. Be able to play it in front of our loved ones, our friends, get the approval back. That's a huge milestone, and it's not difficult to do with the approach I'm going to show you in this video, okay? So many people, when I first started, and I see this with my beginners too, try to learn the song line by line. So you got a song, right? And then you're like, okay, what's the first chord? Okay, it's whatever, a G, right? Okay, now what's the next chord? C. You can already see it's not sounding like a song because I've got G and then C. What other lyrics? Okay, what's the strumming pattern? Okay, what's the next chord? D. Okay, the next chord is C. Okay, so I try to put that together. It's just a big mess, and that's just the first line, okay? And then you gotta go to the second line, to the third line, to the fourth line, and you keep going like that, and you spend like an hour just trying to go through every line. There's no way you're gonna be able to memorize all those things, and that's just one song. Imagine if you want to play 4, 5, 6, a set of 10 songs. It just becomes like an odyssey, like something extremely difficult to do, but it shouldn't. Okay, so let me show you what I teach my students. I put together a couple videos for you and 25 Campfire easy songs that you can download if you want to check it out. It comes with videos, it comes with chord charts, just like that, okay? If you want it, the link is somewhere over there, but this is going to be, let me teach you the essence of that book and how I teach my students, okay? So the first thing you want to do is choose songs that only use chords that you feel comfortable with. So I see this with all my beginners. There's like, I want to learn Hotel California. Great, awesome songs. Do you know how to play an F? No, I don't. You can't play Hotel California yet then. I mean, it makes sense, right? Once you reach that F, you're not going to be able to play it. You're not going to be able to change fast enough to that F. That you're going to have to practice until you can play Hotel California. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of other songs that are great, some by the Eagles too, that do not use an F. So imagine you just know how to play C, G, and G, or C, G, D, and A minor, or E, A, and D. Just with three chords, you can play thousands of songs. And there's a really cool website called the Chord Genome Project. You throw some chords into the search, and it'll spit out songs that only use those chords. Pretty cool, right? So it makes sense that if we only know a couple chords, we use those chords to play the songs we want to play instead of searching for a song and then discovering that there's a chord we don't feel comfortable. The second thing I teach my students is to structure the song into manageable chunks. And to that, let's dive into my computer. Come with me and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so I chose the chords G, C, and D. Those are chords that I feel comfortable with and that I feel confident changing through. Okay, so I just threw those chords into the Chord Genome Project and it spit out some songs. And I chose The Joker by the Steve Miller Band. Great song to start with. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to structure the song in a way that we can manage properly, okay? And the way I do this is normally songs are created by several parts. Verses, that's like the story. Chorus, that's like the punch. That's the one everyone sings to. Welcome to the hotel. That's the chorus, right? And then sometimes you got an intro, an outro. Like an intro is just a little part that comes before the song, and an outro is just the ending of the song. And sometimes we have a bridge, which is like a twist to the song, okay? So basically we've got to play the song, verse, chorus, and sometimes bridge. Okay, this song, The Joker, only has verses and choruses. Okay, so here's the trick. I I gotta identify how the song moves. So is there one verse? Does it start with a verse? Does it start with the chorus? Does it start with the bridge? Does it start with an intro? This song starts with a verse, okay? So it probably starts with an intro, but I didn't catch that. Anyway, let's start with the verse, okay? So I'm just gonna write down verse over here. Excuse my writing because I'm writing with the mouse. That's verse. Now we can see there's another verse. Okay, so I write verse again. But here's gonna be the trick. And then I'm going to write down, what's the next thing? Chorus. Okay, so I've got a chorus over here. Just like that. And then if I continue and look at the site, I'm going to see there's another verse. There's another chorus. Maybe there's two choruses. So right here, I know how I'm going to move throughout the song. But here's the trick. Now we're going to discover what chords are in the verse. Okay, so I'm going to write down verse, and I've got G, C, D, C, G, but this G over here is the same as this one, so I'm just going to write down G, C, D, C, okay, G, C, D, C, excuse my writing, so that's the sequence of chords in the first line. So just looking at that in your little paper, if you write it down, it's a lot easier than looking at your screen and then you can get your paper and just place it over here, okay? But look at the second line. G, C, D, C, and G again, which is the same as this one, so we're going to discard that one. G, C, D, C, the same thing. I'm not going to write down anything else. The third line, G, C, D, C, the same. Fourth line, G, C, D, C. So instead of looking at every line, we found out what the sequence of chords was, and we wrote it down on a little piece of paper. Now, if I want to play the Joker, I still haven't figured out when to change chords, but if I want to play the Joker, I just need G, C, D, C played 4 times, and that's my first verse. But this is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at verse 2. G, C, D, C. G, C, D, C. What? G, C, D, C. Excuse me? G, C, D, C. So verse 1 and verse 2 are exactly the same. And I'm telling you already, verse 3 is exactly the same. So you learn G, C, D, C, that sequence, and you can play all 3 verses of the Joker. Just like that. A lot easier than trying to remember the entire song, right? Let's go to the chorus now. So that's my verse. I'm just going to play this times 4 for every verse I encounter. So I'm going to play this times 4 for verse 1, this times 4 for verse 2, and then I'm going to jump to the chorus. Let's look at the chords for the chorus. So we've got G, because I'm a picker G, I'm a C, I'm a G, and I'm a C. So I've got G, C, G, C. A little bit different than the verse, but now we only have to remember 2 lines, right? G, C, D, C for verse, G, C, G, C for chorus. Let's keep going. I play my music in the sun. Okay, G, C, D, C. G, C, D, C. Which is exactly the same as the verse. So, we've got verse, that little sequence. Chorus is a little bit different where it plays G, C, G, C first, and then it turns back to the original G, C, D, C. So you can see with this, we can play the entire song, okay? This is how I like to structure my songs in a little piece of paper. I just grab, I place G, C, D, C, and for the chorus, G, C, G, C, and G, C, D, C, and that's it. That's my entire song. And now I know I have to play 2 verses, 1 chorus, 1 verse, 1 chorus, 1 chorus. I'm done with the song. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so now step number 3 is keeping things as simple as possible. Again, if you're trying to change through chords, sing, create a strumming pattern, change strumming patterns in the chorus, it's just not going to work. So you want to be able to play the song from the beginning all the way to the end. And the simplest way to do that is to just play down strums. 1 down strum per beat. Let me demonstrate. Some people call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love. See how easy that is? 1 down strum per beat. Okay? Now, inside of the Camp for Guitarists, I teach a thing that I call the eternal strum, and that's just a fancy name for, instead of playing 1 down strum per beat, you play 2 down strums per beat if you're a little bit more advanced. But trust me, 1 down strum per beat gets you through the song very easily. You just look at your little paper, that little sequence you wrote down, 1 down strum per beat, and you'll be able to play the entire song. This song, by the way, is 2 beats per chord. So 2 down strums per chord. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Some call me the gangster of love. 2, 1, 2. Some people call me Morris. 1, 2. Okay? Very simple. I'm also playing it very slow at the beginning. I'll be able to play it faster later, okay? Let me demonstrate how playing 2 strums per beat really fills in the gap, and it works for any song. This is, I call it the eternal strum because it works for any song, any intro, any bridge, any chorus, anything, okay? Check this out. Some people call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Morris. See how it fills in the gap? This is a little bit more advanced. Nothing wrong with playing just 1 down strum per beat. But if you're able to play 2, it really fills in the gap. Hope it clarifies and hope it demystifies what it's needed to play songs, because I really want you playing songs. If you want to download this little book with 21 songs that only use 3 chords, okay, and we'll go over some of the topics we covered in this video, the link is going to be somewhere down there. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this makes playing songs easier and at least gives you hope that you'll be able to do it, okay? Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.